What do we have here? Signals? Working signals? What do we got going on here? We're going to talk about it right here on Model Railroad Talk. So stick around because we're going to get this show on the tracks. Howdy, Model Railroad Talk fans. What did I show you in the intro? What am I doing? What did I say that I probably would never do? Or I shouldn't say never, but we're going to go back. I know I've showed what used to be my blindside signals. If you remember right, whether listening to the audio podcast or previous videos, they were originally just for are going to be to show the direction that the turnout switches are thrown in. After watching the videos right here on YouTube of Corn Country Rails, Tony Bowen over there, and watching his videos about using Azatrax, it got me thinking, and I started doing my research. My main issue with signaling systems is you have to have it hooked up to the computer, most of them, in order for it to function properly. While, yes, I have a fairly decent medium-sized railroad, it doesn't really warrant for me to have a full CTC board or even on the computer CTC board. Yeah, I can have a dispatcher sitting upstairs or somewhere else, but to be able to control this, the railroad's not big enough, and it starts introducing too many complications into operation when I want something simple. So after doing research and watching Tony Bowen's Corn Country Rails, so thank you, first of all, shout out to Tony over there at Corn Country Rails. He's a great guy. He's actually part of my NMRA division here in Iowa, the Iowa Eastern Iowa division. And and he's a master model railroader, so he knows his stuff. But I reached out to him, have had several conversations with him, short conversations, I should say, with him about the Azatrax, and I looked into it. And just like he said in his video, John over at Azatrax is a great person to deal with. You send him an email, granted, it may take him a few days to get back to you because he is busy running a business. But after bouncing several questions off of him and actually talking with him on the phone, it helped clear things up. I sent him a rough schematic of what my layout is. He sent me his suggestions of what to start out with. And that is what you saw first. So thanks to John over at Azatrax System. So if you're interested, before we go any farther, it's Azatrax. Look them up. It's azatrax.com. Their system, and this is what you get. I'll show you. They have different boards depending on where your signals are going to be located, as far as what kind of track do you have before or after that signal. If you want like a comprehensive installation of this, I'm not going to do one. I recommend going over to Corn Country Rails right here on YouTube and looking at Tony's. I want to say it's from, well, as of this time of this recording, they're from about 4 years ago, but look it up. He does a very good job at showing how to install line side signals. His is N scale, but his method will work any scale. It's just the size of your drill bit or whatever, you know. But I recommend going over and looking at his if you're looking for an installation. This is more kind of showing you what it is. He does have that as well. But I'm showing you this just because I'm excited about it. I think it's great. And I got my first one installed. I actually ordered two. I have to get my other one installed, and then I'll be getting the full benefits of two sets of signals. Now, to start out, I will forewarn you, every place you're going to have a signal, you will need one of their boards. They have, like I said, they have several boards depending on what your situation is. The video over there, Tony over at Corn Country Rails, the video showing him install, he had their TS2 board, which doesn't matter the scale, they're all the same. He has a single track main line, so the TS2 works. Mine, what I'm starting out with, which I will have a couple of them on the railroad eventually. Mine's actually the TS3, which where I'm starting at is just outside my upper yard here, going east, because it goes east around the upper and drops down to the lower level. I was going to start in the middle, and I'm like, I'm going to start at one end and just work my way around. And as he stated in another one of his videos, I am planning on doing one board and set signals, 1 to 2 boards and signals, depending on which boards I need to get, per month or every couple of months. And it breaks down to where it's only, depending on your signals that you buy and a board, you're $100 to $125 for one setup. That may seem like a lot, but once you get your initial 2 set up to where you have them talking back and forth, and I'll explain that here in a bit, each edition isn't that bad if you think about it. So let's I'm going to turn the camera around, and I'm going to take you over here and kind of show you what it does. All right, what you see here is I've got a dual head here, because this is actually going into, this is my main line. Don't worry about this backtrack right now. This we're worrying about this closer track. This goes into my main line, and this closer track is a siding. So the top one is for the main line, the bottom one is for the siding. Yes, my colors are a little bit different. It's unfortunately the way the signals were when I got them. I didn't pay attention to them when I got them until now, and yeah, now it's kind of a little too late. But I also don't want to go through and rewire them and everything else, because then you take a chance of breaking them. They're already finicky. So what I did here is basically I have 2 heads. The ones I bought, they're just like this one right here. The upper one here, I actually took 2 of them. I took the head off, pulled the wires out, took a piece of brass, cut it a little longer, and made a dual one. And it was fairly easy. Actually, I'll show you here in a second. I'll show you what I have. So realizing that last shot was kind of boring, I was planning on moving a train through there to kind of show you how it works. And then I got onto the side track of the dual head signal. So to give you a heads up, this, don't look at the brass color yet, but this are what the signals are. It's just the single head right here and with the ladder. And what I did was I took 2 of them. This is one, obviously. I took another one, and I took the head off, pulled the wires out. I took a piece of brass that was as close a diameter as I could get to the original one right here, and adjusted the height. Yeah, they're not lined perfectly up, but given the fact that I wasn't originally going to be doing signals in this aspect, I'm happy with it. This one, clearly, I still need to paint just a little bit of kit bash work, and I got this. Where it kind of gets a little more complicated is in adding your extension wires to these, and we'll get into that here in a second. Okay, so the Azatrax system is basically, it works off of IR, infrared, and I have an infrared set right here, sender receiver here, and I have one right here. And if you just seen the color change, because I was messing around with that. Now these right now, I only have this one board, and I will show you the board here in a minute. It's kind of a mess. I left it that way for 2 reasons, but we'll get into that. But right now it's on a time mode, and depending on how quickly it senses between the 2, it'll change anywhere from 7 seconds to 15 seconds is what they say on their website. So what we're going to do is, because I have it lined for the main line, and I'm going to go over here, and it's kind of in a false mode because it didn't sense anything past. So we're going to go by, and once we go by, we will see, after a short period of time, we will see the colors change. Right, once I get there, see it change there. Now I'm gonna back the train up, and I'm gonna flip the switch to take it into, and you'll see it change again because it senses the infrared. Now the bottom, now if you watch, all right, let's stop her there. This bottom one right here, this is actually for the sighting. The top one on these dual heads are for the main line. That's the way I've established on mine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip the switch, and you'll see those change without the training going over, and see how it changed from this bottom one was red and the top one was green. It flipped that over to the bottom. Now the bottom one's green, the top one's red. So letting the person know you're not going straight, you're going into the sighting. So we're gonna go forward here again with our train, and you're gonna see that change to red, and then here after a few seconds we should see it go back to green. Now we have a different aspect. This is over now, I guess the best way to put it. Here we are with the mainline one signal, and this is the siding, and we are sitting on the siding, so the siding is green. Now, once I go back, and yes, I'm running faster than normal for display purposes. You see it turned red, and the other one stays red because the switch is thrown against it. But once I get past the signals, I'm going to come up here, I'm going to throw my switch to go back to the main, and you will see that one went to yellow. And clear down on the original one that was down over that way, it's now green on the top. And as soon as I got the green, now I'm going through, it turned red. And I'm clear of it. And based on I was going quicker, it went to yellow, and it'll go back eventually to green. All right. Remember, I told you about the Azatrax system where I didn't want to, or I shouldn't say Azatrax, I didn't want to have to get into computers and stuff like that to make all this work, right? So that's the nice thing about the Azatrax system. What I haven't shown you yet, and I don't know if I will, but this is the TS3 board. And you can go on their website and look up the TS2, TS3, and they have a TS5, which the TS5 in this situation would be better. And down there, I have another spot. My situation is a little bit different, where my TS3 there and there will be fine. If I put another one in, I'm going to have signal after signal after signal, and it's going to make it confusing as far as operations. So I'm still going to stick with my dwarf signals in the situation of right here, where my main line is back here. This is, in a sense, where it comes off the main and goes into the siding. But this lead right here goes back to Ogunnape Grain. So I'm still going to use these dwarf signals in key areas to let operators know if you see a dwarf, it's either going to be red over, or it's going to have a red over green, or it's going to have a yellow over green, depending on which direction. And once you get past your main signals, which are controlled by the Azatrax, if you come across a dwarf, that's going to let you know, okay, you've got a non-signaled controlled turnout switch that will that you have to pay attention to the colors of the dwarf signal, whether the switch is thrown for you, against you, or diverted for a siding to slow down. So the systems are actually really cool. You order like the TS3, this is what you get. You get their board, you get 4, and you can order it without the IR sensors, but I just recommend getting them because they send you everything. You get 2 sets of IR sensors. You have your sender and receiver. You get 2 sets of those, and they have way long enough leads. Plus, they send you 3 1,000 ohm, I'm not sure exactly what they are, but yeah, 1,000 ohm resistors. And you can actually work, as you've seen on the other one, you can run it on its own without one. So if you're starting out and you're on a really tight budget and you want a signaling system, but you can't afford to purchase two of them, I want to say when I purchased these were $49 a piece for the TS3s. I purchased two because because they connect together and their own little network. You just run some wires and they connect together. But I wanted to get the full effect to start out. And that's where, when I said before that I am planning on adding more down the road, and I'm going to be going from west to east as I get down to Egremont Yard, which this will be the end down here. So, but you can run them. You can just, if you want to get it, try it out, see how cool they are actually. You can do just one, as you've seen back there. They are set up to where they have a built-in timer. Depending on how fast the train's going, it senses the train between the IR sensors. Like I said, anywhere from 7 seconds to 15 seconds, it'll change and it'll go through its thing. And you can configure these for different signal heads. They're very flexible. They have like the different signal heads that you can do. The bullseye ones where they're multicolor LEDs. And the nice thing is you don't need resistors if you're running LEDs. You don't need resistors on your lights because the resistors are built into the board. So as you can see right here, I do have a mess over here. Let me get my camera out of the way that's for recording on audio. I have lots and lots of wires. Those will get tucked up in there. I am going by what Tony Bowen over at Corn Country Rails is doing. I like his idea of just leaving them long and coil them up. But I left this down because I need to, I'm going to be installing my next one, and I want to get my wires hooked up to daisy chain it to the next one, and then that'll get put back up under the layout, wires coiled up. It looks way worse than what it really is. If you just follow John's instructions he sends you, read them several times. That's the one thing I will tell you: read them over, read it several times before you start doing anything with it, because you can mess up the board and stuff. And if you don't wire something up potentially or right, you could potentially fry something. But I don't want that to scare you. His instructions are very, very easily. For me anyways, I had to read it several times to understand, because there's a lot of short, connect L1 to L4 or whatever, that kind of thing. So, and looking back and forth. So, and if you're not sure you're ready for it, you can go to his website and you can download the instructions and really read up on it. That's what I did before I made my final decision to purchase them. I downloaded the instructions and installation and all that, read over it several times, and was very happy with what I seen between that and having my conversation with John from Azatrax. Really, really solidified my decision to go that route. So I know this video wasn't all inclusive, didn't have both of them running yet, but I wanted to show you kind of what the components were before I got them installed. I'm excited to actually start signaling my railroad. I originally was going to start over here in the middle and then work my way that way and this way. And the more I got to think about it, I'm just going to start, like I said, from this yard that's right here, my Montana yard, which is the farthest west point on my railroad, and just start there and work my way east as I go around. I do know from this point back here, which will be where I'm putting in this next Azatrax controller and set of signals, I don't know if you've seen it, but right here and right here where the signal heads are going, it's going to go around. And then on the back side of the furnace here, is where I have a set of track, and there's a little bit of scenery over there. There's actually going to be a set of signals there because there's the long passing siding there. There's going to be another signal head put over there, so that'll be 2 more TS3s, and then I have to get a TS2, which is just for single track. I'll have one of those, so when you're either getting ready to go down the grade on the backside up under here to make it to the lower level, or coming up, there'll be a signal right there just before you enter or as you're coming out. So in a sense, I need 3 more boards. And based on their pricing and stuff, I'm looking at $130 for that. And I obviously will have to order more signals, because I have 2 double heads that I got to make. So there's 4 signals. And then obviously there's 2 single ones on either side. So there's 4, there's 8, and then I'll need 10 more at least signals. So I'll have to purchase more because I've only got a few left. I got enough to do that one. And I could probably do one more position, which would be like on the first siding turnout, if you will, on that other side once I have the next Azatrax board. But I'm excited about it. Never thought I'd be doing signaling, prototype signaling on my railroad, and it's really exciting to be able to do this and share this. Like I said, check out Tony over at Corn Country Rails right here on YouTube. Great guy. He's got way better explanation for me and his thought process. I'm going with his thought process. And for me, it's spot on. He thought it out. He's actually a great teacher. So watch his installation, and guess what? He's a side note. He's a real teacher in real life. So thank you, Tony, for being an educator and educating our children. So Tony, if you ever watch this, and thank you for inspiring me to put signals on my railroad. Moving on, some final stuff. Remember, April 26th is the last day you can enter to our Broadway Limited gift certificate giveaway. Link below, or you can go to our website, www.ModelRailroadTalk.com. At the top, you'll see contest, giveaway, one of those words, something like that. Fill out the form. We'll get you entered in. If you're interested in getting, it's 1 entry per person, but if you're interested in getting a second entry, become a Patreon supporter, premium supporter by that date, we'll automatically enter you. Or you can go to buymeacoffee.com/ModelRailTalk and just make even a one-time support. Show your support there. We'll give you a second entry, or even on PayPal, if you'd rather just show some support through PayPal, reach out to us, ModelRailroadTalk@gmail.com. That'll get you a second entry. Thank you to Broadway Limited Imports. You can check out them out, www.broadway-limited.com. Make sure you check them out. They support this podcast, and we really appreciate it. Great products over there. In fact, I joined their conductors club. I've pre-ordered I know I'm doing KCS, but I've got to get a couple of them. The new CPKC paint scheme. I pre-ordered I think they're the Givos that they have out, or that are coming out. So they have a great deal over there for the conductors club. So check that out. It can be worth your time and money. Also check out Alan at Alan's N-Scale World on Facebook. Doing great things over there. Yeah, even though his name says N-Scale, he does do weathering and modules. Most of his stuff's N-Scale, but he does do other things. I know he's weathered some cars for me in HO scale, and I'm working with him, trying to schedule with him possibly to send some more cars his way so he can do some weathering for me, because he does such a great job. So check him out on Facebook, or you can email him at allensnscaleworld.com, or I'm sorry, allensnscaleworld@gmail.com. Don't forget to check out our good friend Benjamin over at Benjamin Trains, his N-Scale Kansas City Southern, Baxter Springs, Lawton branch. Check him out. Go over there, give him a like and subscribe as well. Help him get his numbers up. He has been with me almost since the beginning with the podcast, supporting me. I'm trying to show him some support. And he's kind of the reason why I kind of shifted back a little bit in date to where I'm running the KCS, because he made me really get in touch with what I really wanted to model. Maybe not necessarily physical landscape, but at least the road. So thank you. And don't forget Eric over at Warbond's channel. Thanks to him. The little intro montage, he does that for me and updates it whenever I ask him. and he has the 1-inch scale GP60M he's building. So if you're interested in something that big, even if you're not interested, just being able to see the process up to where he's at right now and building that, I fortunately have been able to be able to see it and be a little bit a part of it up to this point, and it's exciting to see. So thank you for watching, and like we always say, keep your train on the tracks.